The football came over the wall first, as if casing the derelict yard. It was followed with a thud as its teenage owner landed on the broken concrete ground. It was 5:02 p.m. and the September evening sun was shining at the picturesque Dunloe harbour of Ballinasloe, a large town outside Galway city. The harbour area was once just a small outpost consisting of a harbour master's house and 2 stores. In the years following the turn of the century, expansion had seen it become more populated with modern duplexes, terraced homes and apartments, often marketed as perfect residences for first-time buyers. But there were still some disused yards that had fallen between the cracks of progress, remaining empty and abandoned, like the one the teenager had followed his ball into. To the casual observer, it would be an everyday scene of bored after-school mischief, but the only ones there to witness it were far from casual. The drug squad detectives watched as the boy took some latex gloves from his pocket and headed towards a school lunchbox. As he unpacked its contents of 6 sandwich bags containing white powder, the detectives sprang from the shadows. Almost 2 years later, members of the public would be asked to leave the courtroom due to the young age of the offender, whose case was about to be heard in front of Judge Brian O'Callaghan at Galway Circuit Court. The accused, now aged 17, sat flanked by both his parents. The teenager had no previous convictions. He wanted to become a teacher, the court heard. He loved soccer and was an avid player too. The average kid next door. He told the court he was pleading guilty to the charge of possession with intent to supply cocaine, valued at more than €44,000, at the disused harbour yard on that Sunday evening in September 2021. The cocaine had been packed into the lunchbox in 6 sandwich bags and was ready for sale. Lab tests following the youngster's arrest would show that he had 620.7 grams to offer his local community. At the in-camera hearing, counsel for the teenager parroted a line that has now become familiar in provincial, rural and city courtrooms around the country. The boy took full responsibility for the drugs. He had mixed with a bad crowd and had since turned his life around. He'd wound up in the yard with a large quantity of cocaine, the court was told, because he had taken responsibility for a debt that friends had accrued. The boy's age was on his side. A custodial sentence for the Section 15 offence carried a mandatory minimum 10-year prison sentence. But because the defendant was under the age of 18, he was in luck. He was handed down 120 hours community service. 20 years ago, when drugs like cocaine were only available in Dublin and a handful of large urban centres in Ireland, the idea of a schoolboy peddling coke around a provincial Irish town would have caused a sensation. The remarkable thing now is how unremarkable it has become for an Irish teen to be a small link in a globalised chain of money, misery and murder. Since it first started tumbling in on the shores of West Cork in the 1990s and in the stomachs of drug mules travelling from Miami, cocaine has become the drug of the nation. It has swept in like a blizzard to dust every corner of every small town, from Donegal to Wexford and Kerry to Louth. While a line of cocaine may have once been the stuff of movies to rural Ireland dwellers, it is now a central part of every night out, every occasion, communions, christenings, weddings and local sporting celebrations. It is available to order, just like a pizza, through social media sites like WhatsApp, Snapchat and TikTok. So swift and total has been the spread and availability that Ireland is now one of Europe's most prolific users of the drug. 1 in every 40 of us admits to having snorted it in the past year, according to the United Nations. Unlike other drugs, cocaine respects no social boundaries. Farmers, GAA players, first-time users in their 50s, and even pensioners are presenting more and more for treatment.